Hello, everyone. I usually avoid politics on this channel. It's not my scene. I don't really like to get political, mainly because it tears things apart. But something needs to be said in this matter. And as long as special education has a place in the politics line of sight, or target, or effect, I'm going to have to speak on it because that's important to me, no matter who is doing it. And I'm prefacing that because if this happens on the right, like what I'm talking about today, I will speak about it. If it happens on the left, I'm going to speak on it. I don't care who's doing it anymore. And this is going to matter for the next thing I say. For context, hello, I'm a conservative. I supported Trump for quite a few years, and still have hope, but it's dwindling. And I still agree with some policies, especially on issues like border security, as long as it's not physically hurting anyone, and it's looked at case by case, and reducing federal overreach, like classic conservative things. But supporting a political side does not mean blindly agreeing with everything that side does. Policy over party. Meaning, since I'm conservative, I'd be considered Republican. That does not mean I will vote only Republican. If I see someone on the left that has good policies that I like, I'm going to vote for them. Same thing as with the right, and so on and so forth. But what is happening right now with education and the education department, specifically with special education, because that's what I do, genuinely concerns me. I also want to say this before people rush to the comments. I'm not trying to start a political war. That is what all I've said has been. We can disagree without attacking each other. Too many people today refuse to listen to the other side. I've started to listen and it's opened my eyes. And that helps nobody. I started questioning things because I saw policies causing damage and I decided to research and what was happening instead of actively defending it just because. The American education system, though, absolutely needs a reform. I think most people can agree on that. It kind of sucks. Teachers are underpaid, schools are overcrowded, and students are struggling academically and financially. But cutting funding and dismantling departments without a clear transition path is not reform, it's instability. Trying to tear a wall down to rebuild it is not suitable. You need to build things around it or gather the resources to build up something stronger without just tearing it down and worrying about it later. One major concern I have is how cuts to the Department of Education affect students, teachers, and especially future educators, like myself. Education programs already struggle with staffing shortages, particularly in special education. Reducing support for education programs and graduate pathways risks making that shortage even worse, which is just going to make things worse for students, because without teachers or the proper support for them, well, education and knowledge and success might go down. Not saying that education leads to success, but that it helps it. And special education is already under pressure. Schools across the country struggle to provide enough special education teachers, paraprofessionals, therapists, and accommodations. Families are already fighting to secure IEPs and 504 plans for their children. If oversight and resources continue shrinking, those protections become even harder to access. Education affects every profession. Doctors are taught by educators. Lawyers are taught by educators. Engineers, nurses, therapists, and scientists are all taught by educators. If education weakens, every field gets weakened by it. You want the people that are operating on you to have the best knowledge possible. But without the proper people to teach them that knowledge, are they good enough? Are they going to be able to do what it takes? Would you be worried about that? Now, specifically regarding special education, recent layoffs and restructuring tied to the federal education system have raised serious concerns about oversight for disability services. Millions of students rely on programs protected under federal disability law, including the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, and the guaranteed of a free, appropriate public education, also known as the SAPE or FAPE? FAPE? I don't know. Speech is not really my specialty, if you can't tell. These laws exist to ensure students with disabilities receive support tailored to their individual needs. And this is where I think the conversation truly becomes important. I actually agree with the idea that states should have more control over education. I don't think the federal government should micromanage every little thing. But special education is different because it is fundamentally tied to civil rights protections. Without strong federal oversight or standards, states may handle disability accommodations very differently. Some states may do well, others may not. That inconsistency could lead to reduced protections, unequal access to services, or discrimination against students with disabilities. If the goal is returning more authority to the states or something, I don't know what Trump is doing. He's has his own plan. Then there should be a carefully planned transition with support systems already in place. You cannot simply gut offices, remove oversights, and hope everything works itself out later. That isn't reform, this is disruption. And regardless of political party, students with disabilities should not become collateral damage in political battles, because that is what's happening. These students are going to get hurt eventually. These teachers are going to get hurt. They are already paid to be there with pennies. Teachers are treated like crap by students and teachers and politicians and the everyday Joe on the regular. And doing this, it's just putting them in more crossfire. Education shouldn't be political, but when politics directly impact students, families, teachers, and disability rights, people have a responsibility to speak up. That includes conservatives like me. I believe in using our constitutional rights to question government decisions. First Amendment. Hold leaders accountable and advocate for people who may not have the ability to advocate for themselves. At the end of this day, this should not be about Democrats or versus Republican, party versus party. It should be about whether students are receiving the support and education they deserve. It's all of a matter of just thinking about how it affects. It's not about, it shouldn't be about gaining power over someone. It should be about truly helping someone. Our government was supposed to adhere to the people. But now it is looking a little bit like he is trying to gain control over something that really has no place in education. Power shouldn't be going towards him. Power shouldn't be going towards people that intend to make things worse for others. That is just what I think. I don't intend to be on here to bash Trump, to bash Republicans, to bash Democrats, no matter if I think something they're doing is wrong. I'm just trying to point out the truth that is going on, because Well, I don't have the facts laid out in front of me. I don't have all of them, but I am actively researching them and will be posting more in the coming weeks. Education has been getting cut. Federal departments, specifically the education department, offices are getting cut, removed, damaged, layoffs. The people that are overseeing these programs and funding and all that are disappearing, are being damaged. Funding's getting pulled back towards the people that honestly truly matter, the next generation, no matter if they're disabled or not. And when funding and education standards are already lowered, and lowered even more now, what happens? Who is hurt at the end of the day? The people in power or the people that are forced to go to school and are forced to go through the already weak system in place? Reforms need to happen, but destroying systems that have been put into place isn't how this is supposed to work. It should be a carefully thought out plan that needs to be put into place that could take a, a years in the making, but currently it's taken very little thought. And I am going to preface this. I could be wrong on some things. I'm human. I don't intend. This is more so my opinion on this. I'm trying to come at it from a more neutral perspective from all of this. Just because I'm conservative doesn't mean I support all Republicans or hate all Democrats. Can we just be people for once?